Hello and welcome. My name is Chuck Price and I'll be your instructor. This 1-hour class is intended to accompany continuing education classes on changes to the 2020 National Electrical Code. I don't need to tell you that 2020 has not been a normal year. The pandemic caused by COVID-19 has affected nearly every citizen in America, including New Hampshire electrical professionals. In a normal year, when a new edition of the NEC is adopted, all licensed electricians in New Hampshire would be required between January 1st and December 31st of that calendar year to complete 15 hours of continuing education on the new edition. This should mean that all licensed electricians, regardless of when their license renewal is scheduled, would need to complete the 15 hours between January 1st, 2020 and December 31st, 2020. Even if the license renewal was scheduled for early or mid-2020, a licensee would have until December 31st to get their CE completed. In New Hampshire, the 2020 NEC was expected to take effect on January 1st, 2021. So by then, all electricians would have their update classes on the 2020 NEC done. On April 19th, 2020, Governor Chris Sununu issued an executive order permitting the OPLC, the Office of Professional Licensure and Certification, to modify licensing requirements. In turn, that permitted the Electricians Board of the OPLC to issue a notification on May 19th, extending the deadline for completing required continuing education to June 30th, 2021. The requirement itself remained the same. Every licensed electrician still needs 15 hours of continuing education on the 2020 NEC. But now the time frame for completion of the CE on the 2020 NEC is extended and must be completed by June 30th, 2021. Any licensee who fails to complete the 15 hours of CE will be listed as invalid, effectively meaning that they are not licensed, and the invalid designation will remain until the board's office receives confirmation of completion of the required continuing education. Performing electrical work in New Hampshire with an invalid license is considered to be working without a license, and the same penalties are enforced. The board also reminds master and journeyman electricians they are not required to submit proof of the 15-hour update course when they renew their license. Submitting proof of continuing education will be done electronically by the provider, in other words, by us. At the time this video was recorded, the Electricians Board hadn't set a date yet for the 2020 NEC to become effective. It's possible that the original January 1st, 2021 effective date will be met. More likely, it'll be somewhere closer to June 30th, 2021. However, you need to be aware that the municipalities have leniency to adopt the 2020 NEC at any time during or after the 2020 calendar year. All electrical work must comply with the addition of the NEC that the specific municipality is using at the time the permit is issued. It's also the responsibility of licensees to know when the 2020 NEC is adopted statewide or when it takes effect in any given municipality. Check the board's website for any updates. Regardless of when the 2020 NEC takes effect, continuing education on any edition other than the 2020 NEC will not be accepted after January 1st, 2020. The Electricians Board, in conjunction with state and municipal electrical and building inspectors and other representatives of the electrical industry in New Hampshire, have also created a publication entitled Electrical Licensing, Installation Concerns and Amendments in the State of New Hampshire 2020. This publication is intended to supplement update classes on the 2020 NEC. 1 hour of the required 15-hour code update CE must be devoted to these state-specific installation concerns and amendments. The Electricians Board seeks to include in the published installation concerns any problems encountered by licensees in the state. This is why the board welcomes feedback and concerns that arise regarding electrical installations that will be included in this list. Unfortunately, the delay in adopting the 2020 NEC for New Hampshire means that the amendments in this publication are to the 2017 NEC. As such, those are the amendments that we'll cover in this class. This class satisfies the 1-hour requirement for education on the electrical licensing and installation concerns in New Hampshire for 2020. It's intended to accompany an additional 14 hours of continuing education on changes to the 2020 NEC, along with a review of NFPA 70E, Standard for Electrical Safety in the Workplace. This full 15-hour requirement must be completed by all licensees between January 1st, 2020 and June 30th, 2021. The additional 14 hours is available through At Your Pace Online. As a part of the May 19th extension for completion of continuing education, the board removed any restrictions on completing the full CE requirement online through December 31st, 2020. Since the Electricians Board had not previously set any limits on how many of the 15 hours can be completed online, this change doesn't affect electricians. But it does underline that the OPLC is encouraging online continuing education as long as COVID-19 continues to be a cause for concern.